Hello and welcome to the True North Show, a show where we dive into the pivotal moments that ignite our guests' passion, uncover the stories behind their purpose, and reveal the real-life strategies they use to stay balanced and prioritize mental well-being. Get ready for inspiring conversations that light the way to living with intention, resilience, while following your true north. I'm your host, Megan North, and I would like to thank our sponsors of the show, Quantum Awakening, Beth Lewis, Anne C. Clark, and our lovely guest who paid to be featured on this episode. Today, I am joined by Angela Bullock, and her name is a name every soul-led entrepreneur needs to know. She's the best-selling author of The Messy Mums Playbook, the creator of the Monkey Mind Madness app that's been used in classrooms across New South Wales in Australia, and a former therapist and life coach who turned her side hustle into a soul-aligned empire. Now, she's one of the pioneers of emotionally activated AI marketing, helping coaches, healers, and creatives finally break through from burnout business models and actually make money while what they love doing. Angela blends powerful mindset work, manifestation, trauma-informed strategy, and AI-powered systems to help women step into their next level wealth, confidence, and clarity. If you've ever thought, I know I'm meant for more, but I just don't know how to get there, Angela is the how. Welcome to the show, Angela. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
I love it, and I can't wait for our conversation. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. So what was the defining moment that led you to pursue your true passion and purpose?
Okay, so it's funny. So I'm just going to take a little side note from that question just for a moment, because as I was watching the intro roll in, and it was your soul knows the way, right? And you're always meant to be exactly where you are right now. And everyone goes, well, how does our soul know the way, right? And it comes in multiple forms, but most of the time we don't see it, right? So it presents us as adults, as our passions, as our dreams, right? Mm-hmm. But when we're children, it's our go-to. We don't even realize we're following our true north when we're kids, because we're just doing what comes naturally to us.
Uh-huh.
So when I was watching that, I was like, yeah, like we just follow our intuition and our gut feelings as kids, right? We're like, I'm going to throw on the cowgirl hat and the ballet slippers and all my mum's jewelry and feel amazing. And then as we grow up, we condition ourselves to fit into societal norms, right? So when I think about where my pivotal moment was unfortunately at the complete breakdown of my marriage, when I actually saw that as the most amazing opportunity for me to check in and go, am I living the life that I actually want? And the answer was no, because I realized I was kind of like molding myself off my mother's relationship and what society told me I should be like. And I was just going through the motions, generally kind of happy but not happy. You know, when you think you're happy, but if you're actually checked in, you're like, no, I'm really not happy.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I wasn't heading my true north. Actually, I felt like I was on a slippery slope to the south. But that was my pivotal moment, because I feel like life, especially when we hit adulthood, presents us with challenges and situations that are not fun. And it's really saying, hey, love, is this what you want? But instead of taking that moment to sit back and go, what do I want? What do I love? What am I actually naturally gifted at? And as a kid, intuitively just did, because it felt natural.
Yeah.
As an adult, I've resisted it because I've tried to conform. It was that one that led to that back against the wall moment, right? But you know, like what I would love to say, which is kind of probably not even the question, is like, have a look. How many times have you had those my back's against the wall moment, but trudged forward anyway, when really that was that moment where the universe tapped you on the shoulder and went, hey, babe, what do you want? And you're like, no, I'm just going to keep doing this way. So for me, that was it. But if I look back before that moment, I had many of those. I just had ignored them. Right? So I know that was like a two sideways part, but just watching the intro is that guide, your true north. That's your intuition. That's your dream. And it presents as passions or a dream like that you keep. I'd really love to have this. And then our fears kick in and go, but I can't because.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you've opened with that too, because I'd love to explore a little bit further of, I think, Pete, there's so much fear when it comes into thinking, I would love to do this, but I can't because of this reason. And I remember 4 years ago when I left a very successful HR corporate career to do my own thing. And I remember that there was a senior executive at a really large organization that I was working for at the time, and I was supporting him and his team. And he said, you're incredible, like to have the courage to just do what you're doing. And I said to him, I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be successful. Yeah. There just was never a doubt. I had no fear. And he was like, really? There's no, and I said, no, I said, that's why I'm doing it. But it took me a while. I mean, that was 4 years ago, so I was 47. But it took me a while. But it's that having that inner trust, inner knowing, courage, confidence, all of it, to just step into it and just go, this is what I've got to do.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing about fears, and it doesn't matter, like fear of parenting, fear of getting old, fear of dating, fear of starting a business. It doesn't matter. Insert whatever it is that you want to do, right? Fear's going to come up. But the problem is people don't see fear because fear is disguised as logic, right? Right. So it feels logical to us, right? And then because our brains are wired to not make us wrong. Okay. So if you go, and anything that comes after a but, I'm famous for saying it's an excuse. It really is an excuse. Right? If you go, I want this, but wait, what's coming after the but? Let's navigate them. Let's destroy them. Let's bring them down. How can we work around them? If it comes up, what comes? I always say, let's work out the master plan for the worst case scenario. Once you know you can slay that dragon, what's going to get in your way? Nothing, right? That's why we surround ourselves with women, to remind ourselves of that. That's why it's so important. But our brain will say, right, you've said you can't. You've said this. So I am now going to, that's the reticular activation system. I'm now going to get proof. And it brings people into your life that reflects back to you that logical fear. Oh, you're too old. Oh, you've got young kids. Oh, but you might not make the money. Oh, but you might fail. And, or Aunt June, who I see once every 4 years at Christmas, she's going to bring out every judgment stick. And I don't want to have that, right? Or I don't want to be bullied like I was at school. And on that note, I believe most women that have the audacity to stand up and pursue their dreams never felt like they fit in at school. Ever. We never felt like we fit in at school. Ever.
No, I didn't.
No, I've never met anyone that did, right? And so what do we do to fit in? We get bullied, so we conform. So what are we doing when we're conforming? We're leading into our fears.
Yeah.
And our fears are designed to keep us safe. But baby, safe, right? You're okay.
Yeah.
We've got each other, right? And that's where you've got to go, I never fit in. That's true. Why? Because you had a bigger passion. You were driven where other people weren't. And people struggle to understand that in us.
Yeah.
We're a 1% club.
Yeah.
We really are, right? Because if it was easy, most people would do it.
Yeah.
But most people aren't.
Yeah.
And I say insert any dream. Right? Insert any dream. And most people will shoot it down because that's their belief systems, that's their experience. Plus, without realizing it, subconsciously, we've invited them into our life and said, I need you here to keep me safe and remind me of my fears. And when you realize that fear is normally dressed up as logic,
you
just go, oh, I've seen you before. I know what you're doing.
Hello, I'm going to close the door on you today.
Yeah. I always say fear gets to go in the back seat. You go, okay, Is this thought, is this feeling, is what I'm about to do going to move me forward towards what I want? And if it's no, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to press pause on that, chuck it in the back seat, right? And I'm going to move forward. And if 3 days from now I still feel like I can't, then I will readdress it. But if you press pause on your fears, and you totally can press pause on fears, right? They're just a thought.
Yeah.
Pause it. Pursue the passion anyway. I can guarantee all those excuses that you thought, they just disappear.
Yeah.
Right? Or you start inviting people in unconsciously. Someone will turn up and go, I can help you with this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Serendipity, things start falling into place, but you've got to get out of your own way first. So it's noticing, that's the question. Is this helping me move forward? Yes, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. Okay, well, breathe, press pause, feel your body, like you're okay. Tell yourself you're safe, because that's old conditioning. And go, right, what do I need? What do I need to make this work? And your intuition will always give you the next step.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Yeah.
Right. What most women wait for is the next 10 steps.
Yeah.
Okay? And here's the thing. The universe will never give you 10 steps, because you're going to very quickly turn around and go, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't do it. Steps, right? Every time. Overwhelm is a choice.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. You either have three options. Number one, I'm overwhelmed. That paralyzes you. You can't do anything.
Yep.
Right? Or I'm really busy. I have a lot going on. That's your invitation to prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do first? What matters first?
Yeah.
As a mum, I'm a mum to 3. My family matters, right? So I'll always go, right, have I got food? Have I got dinner ready? What's important for me and my value system around my family? So I make sure that's set. Then it's my business and my clients and all of that.
Yeah.
And my personal health, that probably comes before the business, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And so then you go, okay, so then I prioritize. The third one is like, well, I've got an abundance. There's an abundance of opportunities. There's an abundance of choices. There's an abundance. When you go, oh, I've got to prioritize, you are claiming back your power.
Yeah.
Right? You are confident and you are clear now on what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's clarity and confidence. You're taking back your power.
Mm.
You say, I've got an abundance of opportunity, an abundance of choices. What happens? Your whole physiology changes. You stand taller. You lift your chin, which means your brain's sending signals to your body. Go, girlfriend, you've got this. Let's go, right? Plus, you feel lighter and less bogged down.
Yep.
So that's why overwhelm's a choice.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
I know if we went off track.
No, it's it's absolutely all relevant. Yeah. And I think the thing is too is that if there's something ruminating and bubbling away, it doesn't mean that you have to quit your job and lose all your money from your job and pursue it wholeheartedly. Start it on the side.
Yeah.
That's what I did with my angel card, oracle card readings and that my healings. I was doing that while I was still working in my corporate role. Yeah. And then slowly it started to build, and then you start to get, so it might feel like it's really big and oh my gosh, how's it going to work? But you're right. It's that first step.
It's the first step. Once you take that first step, I can promise you, hand on heart, you will then be delivered the next step.
Yeah.
And on that note, I never encourage women to, especially if we're talking in a business situation, I never say, leave your job, right? That's a really old mentality of the coaching industry about 10 years ago, where we were led to believe if we didn't leave everything, then we weren't wholeheartedly in pursuit of our desires. That's absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to set your nervous system into chaos should never be done, because what that'll do is put you in paralysis. And you will start making decisions based on your fears.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And you will invite people, and you'll invite people that say, I'm the only solution. Spend all your savings on me. And I'm like, no, that's like the biggest red flag ever. Yeah. If somebody ever says that to you, that's a red flag to run.
Yeah.
Right? And most of us have done that, right?
Yeah.
But if you just step back and go, right, I'm going to do it on the side, little bit by little bit. I'm either going to put 10 minutes a day aside, half an hour a day aside, or every first Sunday of the month, I'm locking out life, and it's just me and my passions and my dreams. But never put yourself in total chaos, because you generally lose your Maslow's triangle, your basic needs.
Yeah.
Right? But if your basic needs aren't met, you ain't going to be able to get very far. I hate to say it, you just won't.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have security, you've got to have food on the table, you've got to have warmth, you've got to have a roof over your head.
Yeah.
If you jump and leave everything that helps you provide your basic needs, you're there.
Yeah. I also think too, one of the things that I've learned over my journey is my inner circle. Like, what do I tell certain people? Because I have a very tight knit group in my inner circle who are the most incredible supporters of what I do. And so I have this beautiful small group that I share what I'm thinking to get their feedback usually. If it's something that I don't want feedback for, I don't even ask. I just go and do it. I mean, I'm not asking, but but I feel that also is really important when you're wanting to make a change, or, like I was very corporate HR, but I've got this real woo-woo side to me. I kept that very quiet for a long time and just slowly worked on it in the side, because you know what? I actually didn't want to hear other people's opinions because it didn't matter to me. This was what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I think it's also another piece of wisdom we can share to people is that think about who is in your circle, and who do you trust, and how many people do you actually need to tell at the beginning? Because then you'll get all the nays say, oh my gosh, are you joking? I can't believe you're doing that. Fear comes in, you start to doubt yourself, you lose your confidence with all of those things. So I think it's also just being mindful of who you share things with as well.
100%. And I think I'll be even more honest to say is, the more women I work with, I've worked with thousands of women to this point. Most of us don't really even have a really tight inner circle. I myself am pretty much, it's me, right? And when you're on the journey, one of the scariest things you'll come across, and I don't know if, Megan, you've experienced it, but people that you thought were your go-tos, all the way, right? And you're like, oh my God, now I've got no one. Now I'm Robinson Crusoe. And then the biggest mistake women then make is go, well, my family should support me. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, lean in close because you need to hear this. Your family are the very last people that will believe in you. They will be the very, very last people. And it's because they see you have the breakdowns. They see you I hate this, and the tears and the big fat ugly cries, and and they don't want you to be like that. So they're like, please give up. And I always say to people, you have to be your biggest advocate. Right? There's going to be 50% of you that at any given time doesn't believe you can do it. Okay, it's okay. 50% of you that goes, yes, you can. You need to build up the 50% of you that knows you can. When you were 8 and you had on the cowboy hat, the Barbie tutu, the ballet shoes, and you had 30 of the oldest, ugliest pieces of jewelry that were, I don't know if anybody else had the tin. My mum had this tin of all this, I rocked it. I thought I was the most beautiful thing on earth, and I didn't care if anyone said I wasn't. I felt it. That's the muscle you need to lean back into, because that version of you still exists. But we have to tap into it. And so now I don't need other people in a circle for me. I'm like, well, is this what I want? Is this not what I want? I've learned to feel my body. And if people are like, well, how do I know that? Hot tip. It's a yes if your body feels lighter, taller, stronger. It's a no if your body feels heavier and you sink down. The first thing you'll change will be your body language. You'll go like this or you'll go like this. And it's just navigate that. And start simple. Do I want this chocolate? Do I not want this chocolate? No? Okay. Yes? Eat it. Eat the whole block if it's what you want to do. There's no rules. But when you tune into your own guidance system, your own intuitive, which is unique to only you.
Yeah.
Right? Megan has her unique one. I have my unique one. Everyone watching has their unique guidance systems. They're not the same, right?
Yeah.
And you just learn today. So my invitation to everyone right now watching this is this week, just practice with easy stuff, right? Don't go with the big global question.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And you'll build that muscle, and you've got to notice the words that you're saying to yourself and be your advocate. Be the advocate for your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. And I that is, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And I love that is such a beautiful piece of wisdom that you've shared, that whole the body language piece. Because when you think of things, I feel myself like, oh yeah, but then I have felt before other things. I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel right. It's really obvious.
Yeah.
But then it's also then having that confidence to really trust what you're feeling and to actually then honor that as well.
So every time you honor a yes,
you get more yeses.
You get more yeses, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if I might be showing my age. I'm sure you know this, but was it Indiana Jones and he had to step off
yes
the cliff and he couldn't see, but then as each step came, the drawbridge came across?
Yeah.
That is us.
Yeah.
Right? So to put it into like reality that most of us have done, have we ever walked across a pond that's got slippery rocks that you can't see? Right? There's always somebody that's brave enough to put their foot first.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, oh, don't step on that one. It's slippery. Take this step. And so we follow the steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your intuitive guidance system. And that's why often you look to leaders to say, like, did you slip on a slippery rock? Yeah, don't take that one, or try it. It might be your rock.
Yeah.
Feel into your body, because who am I to say no to you?
Yeah.
That's what you're guided to do. But how can we support you in taking that? Like if you do slip, you've got the ice pack to put on your butt because it hurts, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's, if you only ever learn that, you will get more confident as you realize that it feels good. It feels right. Now, I will put a caveat. Whenever we have to sit and do taxes, we feel heavy, right? But you need to say, is that going to help me move forward? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay. And then we'll do it. So that's when that question comes, is like, do I really want to do this? Because whenever I have to think about doing my taxes, I instantly feel tired. So, yeah.
Yeah, but that's just because it's not your zone of genius and you're not an accountant, right? So it's just more that,
It's just a mundane job.
Yeah.
But that's why you've always, like, if it feels easy, it's meant for you. If your body's screaming yes, please start following them, because they're just so juicy and you'll light up like a Christmas tree. People will be like, oh my God, like what happened to you? Did you get the Botox? Did you get the, no? Yeah. I just started honoring myself. And that's when you own a room, right? That's when you own your space. And then what feels easy, does it not feel easy? Okay, if it doesn't feel easy, how can I make it easier? And is it moving me forward? Is it not moving me forward? That's the only three things you have to navigate through anything. Yeah. Everything else is trial or error. Yeah, yeah. And if it really is the taxes, then get an accountant or a bookkeeper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Outsource, and if you can't outsource, suck it up. It's going to help you move forward. Oh, gosh. I knew this conversation would be just rich with so many golden nuggets. Honestly, I reckon all of our audience will be there writing down all of these things, going pause, writing, pause. So thank you. And when you've mastered the pause, rewind, rewatch, I want you to do that in your brain. Pause, suck it up. Fear, park it. Yeah. Move forward 3 days. Promise you. Put it in your diary. 3 days. Yeah. Okay. I think we'll hear from our sponsors. So we'll take a short break and then we will come back, and I'd love to explore with you your mental well-being in the midst of pursuing your passion and your purpose. So we'll talk about that after the break. But we'll hear from our sponsors now. So thank you. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Angela Bullock, and we are, oh my gosh, golden nuggets flying everywhere. Everybody will be walking out with a very heavy bag.
A goodie bag.
A goodie bag, it is. It's a very, very good goodie bag. So, Angela, can you share with us, how do you maintain balance and prioritise your mental well-being in the midst of pursuing your dreams?
Okay, so it's funny because whilst we were in that little break, I was actually watching the sponsors. And so one was about, looking after your vibration. Next was about honoring your inner child. And then it was, you're not broken, you're becoming, right? And it was all of that weaved in. And I thought that is exactly what kind of looking after your mental health is. We're never going to get the balance right. I think we just need to let that go, right? Like, balance doesn't exist. It just doesn't. It might be that little moment that's and something else happens, right? And I think that's part of some of our downfall that we have is we've got to find balance. We've got to find balance. When you're in the pursuit of finding balance, you're putting more pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
What that's doing is it's skewing the balance.
Yeah.
So first of all, I would say is know what your values are. Like, what matters to you? Like, if I don't know my value system, what matters to you, right? It matters that my children are happy and healthy. So for them to be happy and healthy, I need to have good food. I need to have the time to cook dinner. And so, that matters. So I will often look at my schedule and go, what have I got going on? Because I teach exercise classes as well. So, it might be, right, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's slow cooker, right? So I do things like that. I navigate and look at my week ahead and go, what's going to release some of that pressure from myself?
Yeah.
Then it's looking after your vibration. So part of it is food and intake and looking after what matters to you. Second is you've got to move your body, right? So I teach exercise classes. For that reason, I've been doing it since I was 16. If we weren't born to move, we wouldn't have been given arms, legs, and articulating joints. We would have been slugs, right? But we were made to move, and through movement, we recalibrate and look after our frequency and our vibration, right? So normally the very thing we don't want to do is the thing we need to do, like, I don't really feel like going for that walk, right? I don't really feel like going. But once you've done it on the other side, your vibration's lifted, you feel amazing. You then have greater clarity and confidence to pursue what comes next, right? So there's the honoring the inner child, like honoring what makes you happy. When you honor what makes you happy, and I'm not talking about what makes everybody else happy. Okay? It's what makes you happy. When you're happy, everybody else is happy then. Oh, look at that. You didn't need to make them happy first. No, you didn't, right?
Yeah.
That then starts making you feel better. That then starts making other things fall away. Like, that's the ridiculous part of it is we build up this, like, I don't know, like Jenga. Has anyone played Jenga where the blocks go on top of each other and you like slowly pull one out and hope and pray they don't fall down? The things that are going to fall down are the things that were meant to fall down all along. Right? So part of it is looking after my physical body, looking after what really matters to me, and then being an advocate for myself again. It's notice what I'm noticing. Like, am I speaking really crappy to myself? Well, that has to stop.
Yeah.
And I give myself a good talking to. Right? I'm the coach that people come to when they don't want to just hear fluffy stuff. I'll turn around and say what you need to hear because everyone else is too scared to say it.
Yeah.
I know that's what we need, but you need to get really good at saying that to yourself too, right? Saying, you know what, that's a lie. That's not the truth. That's some concocted idea my mind came up with.
Yeah.
I'm going to change that. So I don't know if that quite answered the question, but there's the 3 layers, right? You have to look after your physical body. You have to look after your space and what matters to you most. You have to honor your inner child. And then everything will start falling away what's meant to fall away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you were saying too about it starts with you, because I think that's really important. And I also think in what you were talking about too, it's about finding what works for you. So for you, you've always done exercise classes and you teach them. That works for you. But other people may do, like I'm a walker. I just love walking. I get so much out of every exercise that I could ever do. Just going for a good walk for me does it for me.
Yep.
Just the thing I love. But that works for me. Other people then are about journaling or meditate. I think there's so much out there about people when they say you should, you should, you should. And to me, I think, oh my gosh, one of my nieces used to say to me years ago when I used to should, she'd say, oh, Auntie Megan, are you shuddering all over yourself? Yeah. And so I think it's work out what works well for you. What do you like? And actually, what do you love?
Yeah.
Don't journal if you're not a journaler.
No. But I will say, I'm trying to think of another word than should. It would be optimal for you to prioritize movement in your life. We are energetic beings. It's as simple as that. And as I said, if you were not meant to move, you wouldn't have been given thumbs, fingers, arms, legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time when we're stuck in fear or we're stuck in just like everything, life just happening. And I don't know about everyone else, but when stuff happens, when bad stuff seems to happen, it seems to compound, right? You're like, oh my God, it's all falling on top of me all at once.
Yeah.
We have to move our body. When you move your body, things get clearer because we block ourselves up, right? So, find a way of movement that you love, or rope somebody else into it that's going to help you accountable and be the one that goes, no, we're not doing that. We're moving. And you're like kicking and screaming because I promise it'll work on the other side, right? Yeah. But, a lot of our blockages, a lot of our limiting beliefs, a lot of trauma it all gets stored in our body. It all gets stored in our muscles. And the only way to shift it is through moving it, right? Yeah. So if you're angry, address it, right? The best thing to do for anger that you will ever do is break stuff. Yeah. That sounds terrible. Get a wooden spoon and just smash it into a pillow and scream what you need to say.
Yeah.
Then go and address what's going on. But you have to take radical responsibility because essentially you're the one responsible for any way that you react.
Yeah.
Right? So we're either responders or we're reactors. 99% of the world are reactors. They blow up at everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
The responders, I like to think of it like professional basketball. If you went and watched professional basketball, someone will throw them the ball, they hold it, and they're looking. They're looking at their options. Where's the easiest path? How is it going to get me to what I want, which is the basket, right?
Yeah.
Where if you go and look at kids playing basketball, he's like, right? So check in. Are you a professional basketball player? Are you a responder in meaning you accept what's going on and you look at it and you go, okay, well, this is going on.
Yeah.
What do I want to do with it? Do I want to offload it here? Do I want to break it down into smaller parts?
Yeah.
Take a beat or two.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's like, well, I just want to put it here for a minute. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to move. I'm going to scream. I'm going to cry. I'm going to do whatever I need to dissipate it out of your muscles because that's where it gets stored.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back to it because I can guarantee when you do that, you'll find the solutions or it'll magically have disappeared.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
So be the responder.
Yeah.
And not the reactor. That's the biggest thing. But without shooting all over you, I'm a massive advocate for movement because that's what gets everything firing and working properly. When your motor neurons work properly, your brain fires properly. When your brain's firing properly, you are on fire.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, beautiful. The power of the pause.
The power
of the pause.
The whole Monkey Mind Madness app that I created was all about the pause. It was about the pause and noticing the thoughts that you've got. And in that app, I used to say to the kids, write all your thoughts down.
Yeah.
Right? And then for 20 minutes, focus on your English homework or your maths homework.
Yeah.
And when that timer goes off, you're going to pick up that piece of paper and go, what do I want to do? Or what fears have I got? And I'd say, store those fears. And in 3 days from time, we get the piece of paper out and go, oh my God, that was rubbish. I'm going to fail my exam. Most kids don't fail their exam. Most don't, right? Yeah. But they think they're going to.
Yeah.
So, And when you can start proving your fears wrong, that's when you step into the next level.
Absolutely. And I think it's real. I love that you've spoken about that a couple of times in relation to from a frequency point of view, because I'm going to get really woo-woo here, but with all our guides and our angels and everyone that energetically and spiritually looks after us, they can't, my understanding is they don't understand our 3D logical wording. They just understand vibration. And so when we feel uplifted and when we're excited, they go, "Oh, you love this. I'm going to give you more of that."
You're listening. Now I'm going to tell you more. Right? Now you're listening.
Now I'll give you more. Yeah.
Tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
But think about it, guys. Like, it wasn't really that long ago. We didn't have the power of speech.
Yeah.
We didn't talk. We grunted.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So back then, how did they communicate? How did they assess their needs? How did they know what they want?
Yeah.
They were so tuned in to their physical, energetic being. Our bodies tell us, right? Then our thoughts come in, and then our words come out, and then our actions proceed. So when you get really good at tuning your body and noticing your thoughts, you reclaim your power, and you don't need anybody else then to validate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that. So if you could only say one thing to other women who are starting over, doesn't matter where they are, if they're midlife, if they're early, if they're later on in life, what would that be? Like, what piece of wisdom could you give them?
I would say take yourself somewhere quiet, somewhere that honors your inner child or your soul. Like, for some people that might be in the bush, for some people that might be on a beach, some people that might be underneath the covers of their bed. Like, where is it that you just honor part of yourself?
Yeah.
And then get a piece of paper and just write down everything you wish you had, everything you wish you'd done, everything that you want in life, without the filter of I can't, without the filter of what will somebody else think if I do it. Just no one's going to see it but you.
Yeah.
No one's going to see it from you. When my whole marriage broke down, and I mean, I was kind of blessed because I was a therapist already, I gave a piece of paper to my husband and I said, I want you to go away for a day and I just want you to imagine the marriage that you would like to have, not to me. Doesn't have to be to me.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be married at all, like, what do you want? And I went and did the same thing. Right? And then you have to honor that. So just turn all of the noise out, because that's all it is. And just go to somewhere that you're honoring yourself and go, what is it that I really want? There was nothing stopping me. Or even if there is stuff stopping you, it doesn't matter. Write it down. Because you'll find a way. You'll find a way, I promise you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's really beautiful. Yeah. And I love that you're talking about, stepping back, stepping away and just having that time for yourself. I think that that's really important, because that in itself is honoring you already just by doing that.
Yeah. You can't, it's probably one of the only times I'll say you can't do it when you've got Netflix showing in front of you. You can't do it when you've got mom, or you can't do it when people are around you. Like, you really have to go so you can just breathe and relax and take up space without feeling judged or criticized or like you need to perform.
Yeah.
And once you've met your and you feel safe, right? You've got to feel safe to do this. Then it's like, what do I want? What is it I wish I could do?
Yeah.
Just step into the wishing well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to do anything with the wishes if you don't want to. That's the beauty of it. But if you do, we're here and let's make it happen, because that's my favorite place.
I love that. So do you have any practices or rituals that you incorporate into your daily life to stay grounded and focused?
Breathing would be the first one, right? So, and there's no special breathing. I say just stop and breathe until you can feel your feet. Okay, so until you can feel your feet. And the reason is I've got ADHD, if you haven't figured that out already, and I've got 1,000 things going and I'm multi-passionate. I think most of us are, right? If you're not multi-passionate, I'd be like, babe, I'm pretty sure you are. You're just trying not to, right? Be multi-passionate. Be all of you, right? I love lots and lots of different things. But at any given time, I can step into, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. Like that's what it feels like in my head. Like,
yep.
So I say, just breathe until you can feel your feet, because when you can feel your feet, you are grounded. And my question to you is, when was the last time you felt your feet? Because we all just work from the shoulders up, right? We're all like this, oh my God, I feel so tense. Oh my God, my head hurts. That's because everything's happening here up, right? And then we sink down into fear, and then it's fear up. But when do you feel your feet? Feel your feet, and then what we call posturize. We roll our shoulders back, we step back. Now I become a pure channel. Now from this place, what do I want? What's the easiest way I know how to get there? Or what comes after the but? Because sometimes it's like, okay, let's honor that. Don't gaslight yourself, but listen to what comes after the but, because it's probably not true, or you can work your way around the but, right? But the biggest practice I have, and then I'll always repeat to myself what it is that I'm working on, right? And that can literally be like, so often I'll sit there and I'll go, no, Angela, we're just washing up the dishes, right? Because who doesn't want to, I'll just do this, and then I'll go do this, and then I'll go do this, and right? Like, no, Angela, breathe. Feel your feet. What are we doing right now? What is the task at hand? Let's get that done.
Right. And that's then really bringing you back into presence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that exact moment.
Yeah. And then the next thing I would recommend people do is, at the end of the day, can they, especially women, men are really, really good at this. Men are so good at this. Men go to bed, and even if they've only emptied the dishwasher for the day, go, oh, I feel so good. I emptied the dishwasher today. Yay me. Right? Women may have emptied the dishwasher, done the ironing, vacuumed the floors, done all these things, and we get into bed and we tell ourselves all the things we didn't do.
Yeah.
Start saying, oh my God, I did this. What did you do today? Even if it's only did the dishwasher.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you did more than that, right? Just instead of, oh my God, I didn't get this done and I didn't get this done, right? That's a whole other shooting all over yourself. In fact, there's a different letter in the middle of that. But, what did you do? Start giving yourself credit for the stuff you got done. Yeah. And if you are in an exceptionally challenging part of the day, if you got out of bed and you managed to shower and have basic hygiene, you're winning.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't validate it, right? Yeah. So when we're not self-validating, we're seeking outside validation, and that's when you give your power away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And confidence dips, and you don't know what to do, and
yeah,
that bogs you down at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that that's like a DNA thing with women, that we're just always really good at,
Think about it when we were all like very hairy beasts and we really only talked in grunts, right? The men had one job: go, fetch food, kill the beast, bring it back. That was their job done.
Yeah.
Women were in the cave, talking to each other, knitting, making sure that the kids didn't fall in the fire, making sure that some intruder didn't come to the cave. We had to have all our spidey senses on, right? Now we transfer it into the modern life. We don't compartmentalize like men do, right? We mesh everything together, and where they still have that one job.
Yeah.
So if anyone, there's a really good TED talk on it, but men have brains that are like boxes, right? They'll have boxes in their head. So but once upon a time, their box was, I sleep, eat, I kill beast.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Now they've got the family box, the work box, the maybe this box.
Yep.
And so if they're in work, they're in their work box.
Yep.
Get out of work, they're in their family box, right? And this is why women in business, essentially, we take things so personally, because they are personal, because our family box isn't a box. It's like bubble and squeak. You know, when you've got mashed potato and you put the leftover veggies in it and you mash it all up? That's us. We're like an intertwined wool ball. You know, when you put your jewelry in the jewelry box and somehow it manages to like all knot up. You're like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That's our brains, right?
Yeah.
And that's because back in the day, we had to
Mm.
always look at all the different things that were going on around us. Women didn't have that.
Yeah.
But if you can learn to go, right, now I'm just doing the dishes, I'm in the doing the dishes box. Now I'm in the dream box and I'm pursuing this passion. Now I'm in the mum box and I'm doing that. If we can learn to bring some of that into our life by being present and grounded and going, what is it that I'm working on right now?
Yeah.
We get greater clarity and we have less of that mushed.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you were saying that, I was thinking it's almost because I do my gratitude process every day when I'm on my walk. So that's when I get my brain is quite empty when I'm walking. I touch trees. I do my gratitude. I connect into all of my, all of my sources. But the other thing, and I think I'm going to start to incorporate, is what have I achieved today? Or as a reflection of yesterday, I achieved this today, because it's almost another practice that I can bring in of going, wow, yesterday that was incredible because I did this, this, and this, or this morning I've done this, this, and this.
We are so freaking amazing.
Yeah.
You, listener right now, are the most amazing magical unicorn on this earth.
Yeah.
But you choose not to see it. So I want you to start seeing it. Another thing I do differently is when I wake up in the morning and my brain's still fuzzy, I'll say to myself things like, cash flows into my life. I always know what to do. I always make the best decisions. I can navigate anything life brings me with ease, right? I have that, like I practice where, I used to write those things down. Now I've just taught myself to say it as I come in. I used to listen to subliminals and that back in the beginning, but I've just built that muscle myself.
Yeah.
But and in listening to this, people might be like, oh my God, now I don't know where to start. There's so many things to take away and get started.
Yep.
And my invitation to everybody right now is, what is one thing that you've heard today? Right? From this conversation that Megan and Angela are having, what's one thing that you can go, oh my God, that really resonated with me. Yeah. I'm just going to focus on that and just do that for like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Don't, because that's what people are like, oh my God, now I've got to do all the things.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Choose one.
Yeah.
I'm sure Megan's got this recording somewhere. You can go and watch it again later.
Yeah.
And just build the muscle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't learn to walk by getting up and walking. You
crawled. Yeah, exactly.
You sludged across the ground first. Then you started crawling, and then you fell over, and then you were navigating furniture. Why do we not give ourselves grace in life as adults to do as we did then?
Yeah, exactly. And what I said about what I do on my walk, that's been a long time. Like that's been a process. What I'm now saying is great. I've got another thing that now I'm going to start to practice to put into my it's habit stacking. If anyone's ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about getting a habit and nailing that for this, 60, 90 days, then adding something new to it. So for me, that's a new habit that I'm going to stack into my already existing habit.
And when it comes to habit stacking, always attach a new habit to somewhere where it's easily going to be achieved, right? Yeah. So for you, for example, Megan, that would be easy for you to achieve on your walk.
Yeah.
Right? But don't put it on, when I'm cooking dinner, that's when I'm going to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? That's probably not the best place to put that brand new habit, because I don't know about you, but cooking dinner, the range hood's going, there's people around, we're normally hungry ourselves, it's the end of the day, we're a bit narky. Yeah. That's not the time to go, I've got to have a gratitude practice, right? That's the time to just have a
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's right. So it's being really mindful of where is it going to fit into my day.
Where is the easiest place I can start this?
Yeah.
Again, the 3 questions. Where is the easiest place I can do that, right? Yeah. Is this habit going to help me move forward? If it's a yes, then I'm definitely going to do it, and I'm going to make it easy, right? Yeah. Don't make it hard. It's not meant to be hard.
No, exactly.
On that note, I'm going to say this because I find most women have this. They feel that if it's hard, they're more worthy of having the outcome, and it's not the case, right? What comes easily to you is what you're meant to do, because it comes easy to you, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't come easy to somebody else, right? Something else comes easy to them, right? So you're meant to follow your ease.
Yes.
Right? You're meant to follow your ease. You're meant to follow your light. That is your true north.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. You've just tied that up beautifully in a beautiful bow. Thank you. Just in a beautiful heart. So now we really only do have a couple of minutes left.
Yes.
So I'll ask you the same question that I ask all of my guests before we close out.
Mm-hmm.
So what is one lesson or truth that you've learned on your journey that you wish you had known earlier?
Same thing. I wish everybody knew how freaking amazing we are.
Yeah.
We are just amazing. We are so freaking amazing. You are so freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, hello, you are breathing.
Yeah.
You don't even think about your heart beating. It happens. Like, holy moly.
Yeah.
Honor it. Look after it. Love it. Love you.
Yeah.
In whatever form you are right now, and give yourself permission to follow your ease.
Yeah.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. That's really beautiful. Really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing inspiration, beautiful, incredible energy to our conversation. I've learned so much more about you, and I'm always really grateful to have these conversations. So thank you for joining us today.
It's been an absolute privilege to spend time with you and everybody watching. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angela. And I'd also like to thank all of our amazing and dedicated audience, our supporters, and our sponsors. And I hope that you all have an amazing and wonderful rest of the week. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thanks again, Ange.
Bye. Hello.
Hi.
That was fun.
The recording is still going for some reason. It's that outro for some reason.